Okay, if you remember in the last video, we created a file called README, and we made our very first Git commit to store that file in Git. So I'm back in the top level Git repository directory that created in the last video, and from here you can see the file, and you can also see, if you run git log, the commit that we made last time. So let's just talk quickly about what this commit information has. First of all, this long, kind of gnarly ID here is a unique identifier that refers to this commit. We're not going to use that immediately, but in the future we'll be using this if we need to run commands that refer to a particular commit. For example, if we wanted to undo that commit. On the next line, you see the author. This is using the name and email that you configured a couple videos back, and the date and time of the change, and the message that you created when you performed the commit. So what we're going to do now is take this commit, and we're going to push it from our local Git repository to GitHub. What we need to do first is a configuration step to tell Git which repository we want to push it to. So for that, we'll use a command git remote add origin, and then type git at github.com and a colon. And then let's just take a quick look at GitHub to get the rest of the name of the repository. Go back to GitHub. Yes, and we will go view the repository we created last time, which you may remember is down here on the right. Just click in there. So we haven't checked anything in yet. It's showing us these next steps, and if you scroll down here, it actually shows you the exact command we're running: git remote add origin git at github.com, and then this username / the name of the repository .git. So let's go back over here. Engineer / video.git. Now we can do the command git push, which says we're going to push changes from here, our local computer, to GitHub. I'm going to say git push origin master. Now origin is the name that we just gave in the last command to refer to our remote repository. Master refers to something local here on our computer that's called a branch, which we won't go into now. So for now, all of our push and when we get to them pull commands, we'll just have this origin and master. So this is taking all the changes we've made. Here we type in our key from when we created the SSH key, our passphrase when we created the SSH key. This is taking the changes and pushing them to GitHub. Now if we go back to GitHub, we're viewing our repository page. So if we refresh this page, we will see, aha, we have files. So now you can see a list of the files. You can view the contents of the files, and you can also view, we're looking here at files, you can also look at commits, and you can see that GitHub now has this initial version of the README file that we created a second ago. So now I just want to point out here one possible mistake that can be made, which is, what if in this git remote add origin you got the wrong thing here? What would that look like? So let me just demonstrate that. What I need to do is git remote, let me just undo origin. Let's just say that I had gotten this wrong. Instead of video.git, I put video123.git. So at this point it doesn't complain, but you'll notice when I attempt to do a push, we're going to have a problem. So it asks for my passphrase, that's okay. It'll say repository not found, and then the remote end hung up unexpectedly. So if you see this, it means that you got the remote add origin step wrong. And to fix that, you need to do what I just did a second ago, which is to delete it with this git remote rm origin, and then recreate it with a separate remote add. Just do git remote rm origin, git remote add origin, and put the correct value again. now do a git push origin master, we will see that although there's nothing to push, it will be successful. Everything up to date. Great. So that's just a common mistake I've seen people make. It's a good thing to be aware of. All right. Now let's make some kind of a change to this README file. So we're going to do, again, we have README. We'll do Notepad, README. Just say, this pod project is an example. Let's see, is a simple example. Hopefully it will grow. Now for your version of the README file may be different from mine. You can just make some sort of a change. Doesn't matter too much. We just want to illustrate what happens. So let's save it. Exit. Now, git status. We modified the README file. Now, notice that this is listed as a changes staged, not staged for commit, which means that if we just run git commit, it won't commit it. So for that, we should do git add README. We'll tell git, hey, we want to commit the change we made to this file. If we now do git status, we can see, we modified README. And then we can say git commit. We'll just say fixing and expanding README file. We can now save. Exit. That's committed. If we do a git status, we see there isn't anything to commit anymore because we just did git log. We can now see two changes. The one we made before and the one we made just now. And finally, if we do git push origin master, we can send that change to GitHub. Oops. And when that goes over here, notice that if we refresh this page again, a GitHub repository page, we see, we're looking at commits. There's two different versions of the file. Files. There's still only the one file. Excuse me, but if we open it up, we will see it has the new version. And what's really interesting, if we view the history of this file, we can see, I guess that takes us to, let's see, history for video README. If we click, so this shows each change that's been made. If we look at this most recent change and click this here, which is the beginning of that commit ID we were looking at earlier, this will show us something really neat, which is an illustration of just exactly what changed from one version to the next. So that's the basic use of GitHub. In our next video, we will show some examples that are a little bit more realistic, where we're editing some Java code.